Welcome to Today at Keeneland. It is day 8 of the spring meet and a jam-packed card, 11 races, 4 stakes races. We look forward to seeing Grade 1 competition in the Coolmore Jenny Wiley. Of course, Chad Brown well represented there, led by Rushing Fall and Rimska. Gabby, last year he finished 1, 2, 3 with a separate lot of horses, but Chad always has, I don't want to say backups, but there's always somebody coming up the ranks, and this is the latest surge of Grade 1 talent on the grass as far as the female division.
He could do it again this year because he's got 3 entrants in this year's Jenny Wiley. He's got Rushing Fall, Rimska, and also On the Moon again, so we could potentially see Chad Brown get another trifecta in the Grade 1 Jenny Wiley.
We've also got the Giants Causeway. We've got the Ben Ally. That starts on All Stakes Pick 4, presented by TVG, guaranteed at $300,000. We'll talk about that in just a bit. And then the Stone Street Lexington, an opportunity for 3-year-olds to pick up points en route to Churchill Downs for the Kentucky Derby. So a lot to talk about, a lot to keep track of. And aside from racing, Gabby, as we're located here at Wagering Central, don't forget you can swing by here and get some advice from the vetologist, a man over her shoulder, kind of lurking behind the fern there. Just look for the caps, look for the vests, and they will help you out. But today we have a lot going on. We have activity up on the hill. We've got a band up there. There are a couple of food trucks. We have live music until 1 o'clock that will be taking place on the south and east gates. And then as far as wagering, the $300,000 All-Stakes Pick 4 presented by TVG, that starts with the Ben Ally. That's race number 7. And then what is this $400 spring handicapping challenge that we've got going on? So
the deadline to enter this betting challenge is 12:45, so make sure you come out here. We've seen a long list of people signing up for this handicapping challenge. It's a $400 buy-in. $250 goes to your live bankroll. $150 goes to the prize pool. There's no minimum, so you can bet whatever you want, how much you want, however much you want, on any race today at Keeneland, on any race throughout the country. So it's, I think, an amazing tournament to just kind of dabble in if you're new to these betting challenges, because the big one's going to take place tomorrow. The $3,000 buy-in betting challenge is going to happen tomorrow here.
And the soup of the day, potato leek, in case you were wondering. Potato leek, that's what we've got for you today. Yesterday, we had a wonderful Grade 1 card led by the Makers 46 Mile. We saw Ginger Nut swing wide and get up just in time for Hronis Racing. Joel Rosario, John Sadler, a California Invader. Tyler Service, well done to him. Wentz, first start, first win in his training career.
Finish, too.
And how about our man Bill Murray? You got to take a selfie with him. He pumped up the crowd. But Delta Prince stole the day. As much as we love Bill Murray, everybody does, this run from Delta Prince and Javi Castellano, who is just a dominant force right now in the bluegrass, you're not supposed to win like that against Grade 1 company. Dead last with a quarter of a mile to go and blows past that group.
And Delta Prince, of course, is out of the mare Delta Princess, who also produced the likes of Royal Delta. I believe she's had 3 Grade 1 winners, perhaps. So what a tremendous brood mare she has turned out to be. And Javier Castellano just continues this role. He's had 5 stakes wins so far at the meet and 13 wins out of 24 starts, 54%, finishing in the money, 75% so far at the meet. I mean, his stats are just tremendous.
The record for most stakes wins on a meet by a jockey is 6. There are several jockeys that have done that. There's a chance that Javi not only gets that today, but eclipses that, because he rides the 2 favorites in the Lexington as well as the Coolmore Jenny Wiley. So stay tuned for that. History could be made today with Javier Castellano as he rides another twist of fate in the Stone Street Lexington. So that's a look back at yesterday. Let's start focusing in on today, and we'll start with the WKYT weather update.
Good afternoon. It is a pleasant day if you're out at the track, of course. A little bit of cloud cover out here, and it looks like the cloud cover sticks around, but temperature-wise, it feels pretty good. We're talking upper 60s to right around 70 degrees as we climb deeper into the afternoon hours. There's a small chance for a shower that tries to show up a little bit later on today, but today is a mainly dry day. A little bit of a breeze at times, but it's a nice complement to these mild temperatures we'll see here across the bluegrass. So good luck and have a great day, everyone.
I've got no argument there. He's spot on. He nailed it. That's going to be the weather today. We're not going to get any rain.
I know you were going against the weatherman a little bit yesterday, and you were right. Could that be a new career for you?
No.
Okay.
Listen, I just look at a weather app. That's about it. Maybe they do the same thing. Nobody really knows. Do you know what a meteorologist does, how they do it?
Do we know what handicappers do?
That's a fair point. That is a very fair point, Gabby. Speaking of that, full card picks between Gabby and I let's see how they match up. A lot of different colors going a lot of different ways again, it looks like, Gabby.
It does. It looks like we only agree on the 10th race, which is the Grade 1 Jenny Wiley, when the top 3, which is Rimska, Rushing Fall, and Bella Bay. So we agree on the top 3 in perfect order in the featured race, the Grade 1 Jenny Wiley. But beyond that, we're taking shots in all of the other races. So interested to hear your take and the take on the late pick 4, or the all stakes pick 4, right, I should say, which is a challenging but very interesting sequence today.
It sure is. And well, before we get into that, let's roll through these key races, starting with race number 7. And before we get there, don't forget you can give us a follow on social media at Keeneland Racing on Twitter, Facebook at Keeneland, Instagram, same thing at Keeneland. And you can always catch Today at Keeneland live on TVG2. If you don't have access to TVG2, download the Watch TVG app. You can watch TVG and TVG2 in HD, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, as well as Apple TV. But time now to get into these 4 stakes races. This is the all stakes pick 4 sequence presented by TVG, guaranteed at $300,000. The Ben Ali, Giants Causeway, the Stone Street Lexington, and the Grade 1 Coolmore Jenny Wiley. And let's start with race number 7, the Ben Ali Grade 3, 4-year-olds and up, going a mile and an eighth. This is a good look at what we have in the Midwest as far as the handicap division. Crew Chief is a scratch, and looking at the morning line, Flame Away is the 3-1 morning line favorite. This is a horse for Mark Cassie that was last seen winning the Challenger. We were there at Tampa. It was a nice win, but we'll see if he can get that same sort of trip with Solomini in town.
Jose Ortiz gave this horse a brilliant ride because it was a race that had a lot of speed in it. He decided to go, and once this horse is on the lead, you can see the heart that he has. He has so much heart fighting off challengers. I'm with you. I don't know if he's going to be in that same position today, which could open the door to some bombs. I think the only thing that we agree on in this race is that the favorite is vulnerable,
yes,
and it could be Bomb City and the Ben Ali.
Last year we saw Rated R Superstar win this race for Kenny McPeak. He's now with Cipriano Contreras. He'll be running today down at Oaklawn Park in the Oaklawn Handicap. But he came from well out of it, and I think the same thing happens today, and that's why I'm going with the one Just Whistle for Michael Matz. I had a conversation with Michael here in town this past week, and they had the option of running in a 2-other-than allowance race or this spot, and he felt that this race didn't come up all that tough, so they're looking at this Grade 3, and here's a horse that I don't know that we've seen his best race yet. I mean, he's run against Grade 3 company in the past. He was 3rd in the Peter Pan during his 3-year-old season at Belmont. His only start at the age of 4 was a good one coming from well out of it, and let's take you back to it. It was a 3/4 of a length win. He beats a horse by the name of Guy Caballero, who comes out of there and finishes 3rd in the Grade 2 Gulfstream Mile. So this race has translated to success against Stakes Company, and all Tyler Gaffalione has to do is lay back and make this same sort of run that Jose Ortiz did. He will come running, the son of Pioneer the Nile, going a mile and an eighth. It will not be a concern. We've already seen him take to this trip. I'm looking for the upset with Just Whistle in the Ben Ali. I have the 6 underneath. That is Solomini. He's a horse to me that's really not performed to expectations following his DQ after crossing the wire in front in the Los Al Futurity, which was a Grade 1. Maybe he'll wake up off of that win last time out against Allowance Company. And then I also have the 9 Bourbon Resolution, a horse that you kind of talked me into. Another one I think that is, we have not seen the best of him, and he's run twice at the age of 4, and he comes out of that common Flame Away race.
Exactly, and going into the race, you would think that the pace would set up more appropriately for Bourbon Resolution, but that pace scenario never transpired. We saw Flame Away go wire to wire. I don't think it's going to be the same case today, so I agree with you with Bourbon Resolution. But I'm going to a crazy long shot, Scott, and I think in a race with a vulnerable favorite, a race that doesn't really come up that strong, why not take a shot with, say, a 20-1 shot? And that's what I'm going to do with the number 11, First Mondays for trainer John Service. The blinkers go on this horse. Look back to his race and the Smarty Jones, the Grade 3 Smarty Jones. I thought he ran very well going against the likes of Axelrod and even Diamond King. He obviously did not perform in the Oklahoma Derby in his subsequent start, but take a look at his last race. This was at Laurel Park, his first race coming in off of the layoff. You can see him stumble really badly coming out of the gate, and he doesn't get his feet out from underneath of him. By this point, Scott, the rest of the field is so far in front of him. Look at how far back this horse is after that bad stumble coming out of the gate. He looks like he's making a run here, and he's going to split horses, and then he gets shut off again. coming down the stretch. So it was just such an odd ride. It was such an odd race that I thought that this horse was definitely much the best. He had some excuses, and I'm just going to swing for the fences here. I think that he's a horse that has talent, and we just haven't seen it yet, especially with that treble trip last time out.
And he's not a sprinter. I mean, that was a sprint race. He's a route horse. That race was a stepping stone to races such as this. So we're in agreement in trying to take a swing in the Ben Ally. We're going to skip over the Giants Causeway Stakes. We'll give you our thoughts on that race during our All Stakes Pick 4 preview. But let's move on to the Grade 3 Stone Street Lexington Stakes. This is a race in which the winner will get 20 points on the road to the Kentucky Derby, and it's important for horses such as Sueño and Another Twist of Fate. And Another Twist of Fate is and should be the heavy favorite in this race, in my opinion.
I agree with you. I took a small shot against him, but this is something that I mentioned in my write-ups, analysis write-ups that we post online. I'm not strongly against him. I more so wanted to point out my top selection, which we'll get to in a moment, because I want to highlight him as a talented horse who might get overlooked. That's the 9 Zendin. But Another Twist of Fate, I think, is by far, leaps and bounds, the horse to beat in here.
Yeah, and if Javier Castellano doesn't already have his 6th or 7th stakes win, because there's 2 stakes races before this, his 6th comes in here. I feel that Another Twist of Fate is that much of a standout against this group. And let's roll back his run in the Grade 3 Sunland Derby. You had Mucho Gusto in there, part of the early pace, a Bob Baffert horse. The Baffert horses always have speed. You look at the fractions, 22, 45, and 3, and this horse hung around. Cutting Humor takes advantage of this fast pace and wins this race. But Another Twist of Fate just kept on going. He's not going to have to work this hard early on to establish position. His win in the El Camino Real Derby was a legit performance over the synthetic track. He's by Scat Daddy. We've seen now that he can take to dirt. He avoided an equine herpes outbreak up at Golden Gate Fields in Blaine Wright's barn, his trainer. And he did that because he was at Sunland, so they got very lucky there because he could have been quarantined and put in a bad spot up at Golden Gate. So they stayed in New Mexico. They've been here for a little bit of time.
Worked him over the track at Sunland.
I think the stars have aligned beautifully given the circumstances. And this is a serious horse. And this is a serious horse when looking at Kentucky Derby contenders. Don't be shocked if he puts together a big performance, earns his way into the first Saturday in May in that 20-horse starting gate, and is a player at Churchill Downs.
There are only 2 horses that would have implications in terms of the Derby if they win or finish second, and that's Another Twist of Fate and Sueño. But Another Twist of Fate needs to finish first or second in order to get in the Kentucky Derby. I don't think that that's going to be a tough thing to do because I agree with you. And even Cutting Humor, the winner, this is a horse who ran in the Southwest. I loved him in the Southwest, but he's a crazy horse, and he was all over the place under Johnny Velasquez. He was acting up really badly. So I think the winner, in fact, is very talented for Todd Pletcher, and despite that, Another Twist of Fate, he's clearly the horse to beat. I went to the number 9 Zendin in here for Victor Barboza Jr. because I do think that this is a horse that will get overlooked. I mean, he's really done nothing wrong in all 4 or 5 of his career performances. He won first time out. He came back to win the Buffalo Man. Then he came back to chase Call Paul around the track in the Grade 3 Swale. And then last time out, a race in which we'll show you here in the Tampa Bay Derby, he went way too fast under Sammy Camacho Jr. He went 22 and change, 45 and change, 109 and change. And he just couldn't sustain that in his first time stretching out to 2 turns. We talked about this. This is a race that collapsed to set up for horses like Tacitus and like Win Win Win. We've seen Tacitus come back to take the Grade 1 Wood Memorial. We also saw Win 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 come back to finish second in the Bluegrass. So I really do think that the Tampa Bay Derby is going to be an important race with Derby implications, and he set the pace that collapsed. What's he going to do today? I don't know. I'm hoping that Tyler Gaffalione can get him to settle. I don't think he is a horse that needs the lead, but I think he's got talent and excuses in his last race, and I truly think he's a horse to highlight.
It's a great race. It's a great betting race, and let's find out more about the Stone Street Lexington by way of Tom Leach.
Joined by Blaine Wright. He trains Another Twist of Fate, and this horse seems to have really improved in the last 2 starts. What changed?
I don't think really anything's changed. He's been a nice horse all along. He got to come through his conditions well, and he's doing what we expected him to do.
Had a bullet work last time I saw before leaving New Mexico. Anything noteworthy about how that went?
Well, we wanted to get, we're a little pressed for time. I figured it'd be better to work there since he'd been galloping and racing over that track versus coming in here and getting 1 or 2 gallops and having a breeze here. So we got that workout in, and he pulled up good. And here we're just galloping into the race basically.
Oh, he's been on different surfaces already, so are you confident he'll handle a new surface here?
Yeah, no issues there.
And your first time with a horse at Keeneland, right?
Yes, sir.
Looking forward to that?
Yeah, every day.
What's special about this horse?
He's kind of the people's horse. We come from Golden Gate Fields and Hastings Park in Canada, Emerald Downs in Washington, and this horse is for everybody that isn't going to get a chance. So I'm hoping he does well.
Good luck.
Thanks so much.
Lane Wright and another twist of fate in the Grade 3 Lexington.
And that's the beauty of it. He's going to have the places that he mentioned behind him. Washington, Northern California, coming in here, rooting for him to take this race and move on to the Kentucky Derby.
The people's horse. I like how he referred to him as that, and he very much so is.
And Blaine is a top trainer. Don't get confused with anybody else saying otherwise. All right, let's move on to the Grade 1 feature, the Coolmore Jenny Wiley Stakes. $350,000 for fillies and mares, going a mile and a 16th. We've seen some monsters roll through here. Intercontinental rolled off back-to-back wins. One of our favorite horses of all time, Tepin, just a few years ago. And then last year, Sister Charlie en route to a championship season in 2018, part of that clean sweep of the top three from Chad Brown. And as we mentioned, Chad is rolling in deep again. He's got the two fillies to beat in Rushing Fall as well as Rimska. Rimska has been seen as of late. Rushing Fall has not. She hasn't raced in 6 months, but she is 3 for 3 here at Keeneland, so you can't argue against her. But I think that if Rimska is going to beat Rushing Fall, it comes because of the layoff and because of the performance that Rimska put together last time out in the Hillsborough. Let's take you back to March 9th, where she was off the pace. Hawksmoor, a class mare. This was her final race of her career. You can see the fractions that she got away with. She sort of dashes on just a bit, but once Rimska and Irad Ortiz Jr. found their way out of the inside, she just blew right on past her. This was a top performance from a mare that was expected to put together this top performance. A Grade 1 is going to be there for her at some point in time. And I think if they're going to keep these two mares together, Rushing Fall and Rimska, it's going to happen today in the Jenny Wiley. And this is not me discounting Rushing Fall, but we'll see how she's progressed from the age of 3 to the age of 4. She was kind of thought to be that next Lady Eli, and she may be. And then, oh, by the way, they've also got Newspaper of Record who could be the next Lady Eli and then the next Rushing Fall,
Every year,
who's 3 years old.
Thing.
It's just, it's
same
a system
story.
that's unbelievable. But these are, don't mix words here. These are the two mares to beat. And then Bella V as my third choice. She's all class. I think that she's going to have to step up her game against those two horses, but I love the Keeneland graduate in here as well to fill out the top 3 at the very least.
I respect Bellavey as well, and the trick to her, which I talked to Javier Castellano about her in the Marshawas River, and he said that performance was so impressive because she was down on the inside. She's always habitually been a filly that likes to be angled out and get her run in the clear. That was not the case in her last start. So, I think you can truly give her the benefit of the doubt because she had to weave in and out of horses and didn't have a fluid trip. Hopefully, Julian Leparoux knows that with Bellavey here today. But I, too, did land on Rimska. We have seen a couple of horses, just a Raging Bull, Instilled Regard. Who else? There have been a couple of horses to make their 4-year-old debut against older horses, and it hasn't been successful. I have always thought that is the toughest test for these 3-year-olds who've gone strictly against 3-year-old competition last year to face the older, more proven mares or boys, whatever conversation you want to have. So I think today is the only day that you could potentially make a case to go against Rushing Fall, and I go at it with Rimska. We showed the Hillsborough, but I wanted to backtrack to the Suwannee River. And I've always thought that this is a mare that needs a couple of races underneath of her belt to really get to her best form because she is a mare that holds a lot of condition to her. She, unfortunately, was truly hampered by the pace scenario here. We see the 5 Valid Victorian. She won that race going wire to wire, pretty much as slow as you can go at 1 1/8 miles on the turf course at Gulfstream. So don't hold that race against her. I know a lot of people will say, well, she was bet down at 20 cents to the dollar and she lost. But no one went with the pace setter, and she was truly hindered by that. It's not going to be the case today. So Rimska for me on top of Rushing Fall on top of Bellavey for the Grade 1 Jenny Wiley.
Let's take a look at the Saturday Clocker report and go back to race number 2 to start, where Green Fleet worked on the 31st of March, 1:01, second best of 18. Look sharp in both local works, and the trainer is good with second-time starters, so watch out for Green Fleet in race number 2. as well as the 11th race Perlman in race number 11. So 2:11, 11:6 if you're looking for those numbers. But we've talked about the All-Stakes Pick 4. Don't forget there's an early Pick 5. The All-Stakes Pick 4 is presented by TVG, guaranteed at $300,000. I think we can expect it to blow well past $300K given the depth of these fields yet again. And Gabby, let's roll through it, starting with the Ben Ali. You are going deep in this race. Is this the all button? Are you hitting the all button?
Almost. No, I couldn't afford to hit the all button, but I'm going very deep. Well, this is a conversation that we had at the top of the show. I thought that the Ben Ali, the favorites in there are vulnerable, and you liked the one at 50-1, Just Whistle, and I like the 11 First Mondays at 20-1. So this is where I want to have coverage, and hopefully we get a huge price to start things off in race 8, which is the Giants Causeway, a race that we didn't go into much detail, but I do respect the 4 Surrender Now. I'm also going to be using the 8 Morticia, who's coming back to, in my opinion, a preferred course and surface, and the number 10 Excessive Spending for Chris Hartman, who had a trouble trip coming out of the gate last time out. Race 9, the Grade 3 Lexington, another Twist of Fate, and the number 9 Zendon, my price play in there. We wrap it up with the All-Stakes Pick 4 with the Grade 1 Jenny Wiley, and I will just be using Rushing Fall and Rimska for a $48 play.
I'm going to single another Twist of Fate in the Stone Street Lexington and only invest $13.50.
Oh my gosh.
I think that Gabby's right in spreading out a little bit further in the Ben Ali because of the mindset that we have, and it's prime for an upset. But I'll go with Just Whistle as well as Solimini and the number 6 horse Bourbon Resolution, or 9 horse rather, in Bourbon Resolution. As far as the Giants Causeway, Morticia is the class of this race. I think she gets back into the winner's circle after several races where she has not, and she always shows up. And she is one of my favorite horses in training, bottom line. She always seems to show up. And I also think that you have to respect a little bit me for Richie Baltus coming out of that Belvoir Bay race. Belvoir Bay, the horse that beat her in the Wishing Well at Santa Anita, she ran a bang-up race in the Alquaz Sprint on World Cup night against Blue Point, who is the best sprinter on grass in the world. He's a multiple Grade 1 winner. We'll see him at Royal Ascot. So he was able to hang right there with them. So you've got to respect the race in which a little bit me comes out of in the Giants Causeway. Talked about Morticia, and then Surrender Now has done nothing wrong with the 2 turf sprints, and Peter Miller's horses are showing up. So watch out for her in the Giants Causeway. Another Twist of Fate. It's the single, and then using the top 3 selections led by Rimska, as well as Rushing Fall in the Grade 1 Coolmore Jenny Wiley. So that is the All-Stakes Pick 4, guaranteed at $300,000, presented by TVG. Time now for our Best Angles segment. Best Angles, Best Bet, however you want to view it. I'm going to race number 3. I think Life Mission is going to be a good thing today from post position number 11 for Ben Colebrook. Ben's barn is starting to come to life here in these weeks at Keeneland. And this horse just simply comes out of tougher races. I mean, that's the bottom line. They ran this horse as a maiden, a 0-time winner against Stakes Company in his last 2 between Aqueduct and Gulfstream, and he almost won both of them. He was beaten 4.5 lengths last time out in the Pulpit Stakes, which we'll show you, and then just 2 starts back, he was beaten a half of a length in the Awad Stakes as a maiden, and down on the inside, you can see him break away in this spot back at Gulfstream Park on the 8th of December, and he established a solid early position, and he was just simply outrun. So this effort is going to be good enough to beat this group today. I do respect Bar Harbor, a horse that scratched out of a race on Sunday that was taken off the turf course, but he's drawn far outside. We'll see if he can overcome that position. I just think Life Mission, the battle-testedness of him against Stakes Company, is something that horses can build off of, given that you are dropping in class when you're moving back into a maiden special weight.
And he actually was entered to run in the Transylvania, and Ben Colebrook scratched him and ultimately made the decision to run him in a maiden special weight to get him through that maiden level. So he is the horse to beat for sure.
Where are you taking us as far as Best Angle?
I want to talk about the Giants Causeway because this is the only non-graded stakes race on today's card, but it could easily be listed as a graded stakes race because of the depth and the quality of this field. And I will be landing on the number 8, Morticia. I'm with you. I love this mare. She just has done nothing wrong in all 19 of her career starts. Last time out, we'll show you her performance in the Captiva Island, where she was defeated at 60 cents to the dollar. So that's maybe not, the best thing. But look at the fractions, 20 and 4, 43 and 2. They finished it up in 55 and change. I mean, she went way too fast in order to sustain the speed, even at 5/8. So I'm hoping for a more reserved run today. She unfortunately was beaten by Samara in that race, but my play is going to be a $10 win play show on the 8 Morticia. She, to me, is the horse to beat. Coming back to Keeneland, a course that we know she loves.
Maybe this time Rusty Arnold will dress up as Uncle Fester, because he was going to do that. You know that? The first time that this filly ran? So maybe we'll get lucky. We can push him in that direction.
There's something, because she's out of Halloween party.
Right.
I was wondering.
Morticia, the matriarch of the Addams family.
No, I know who Morticia is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's move on to Tom Leach's top pick or top play of the day here at Keeneland. And Tom takes us to race number 4 with U.S. Marshall. This is ironic. I just had a gentleman come by and tip me on this horse. So a couple of tips on U.S. Marshall. And Tom angles, trainer Joe Sharp excels with second, start off a long layoff. Inside post at this distance gives this horse a chance to make an easy lead. And the gentleman that came by and told me about this horse said that the career best buyer came at Keeneland for U.S. Marshall, and it's been a long time since he's been at Keeneland. He's a 7-year-old gelding, and look at his recent workouts over this dirt surface. He's woken up, so there is probably something to that. He's a better horse here at Keeneland over this dirt surface as he comes off of a race at fairgrounds and even synthetic races and turf races up at Woodbine. So a big day, 4 stakes races led by the Grade 1 Coolmore Jenny Wiley. We hope you enjoy it. And you've got a Q&A coming up here in just a few moments down in the walking ring.
In the walking ring with Johnny Velasquez. So make sure you come over and check that out. We're going to have some fun with a nice quick Q&A with Johnny V, Hall of Famer.
For Tom Leach, Gabby Gaudet, I'm Scott Hazelton. Thanks for joining us on Today at Keeneland.
My king, I have discovered something called a preservative. We can put it in Bud Light and make it last forever.
Wait, why would I want it to last forever if I'm gonna drink it now?
Start again. Imagine you wanted to wait a year.
A year? It won't be cold in a year. Are you all right?
Okay.
I could be dead in a year, right?
Yes, my king, you'll definitely be dead in a year.
Maybe sooner. Thank you. I think I'll drink it now. Year-old beer. It's madness.
Bud Light. No corn syrup, no preservatives, and no artificial flavors.
We're here at Toyota Motor Manufacturing in Kentucky.
This is Toyota's largest manufacturing facility in the world.
Let's go take a look.
Come on.
Toyota has invested over $8 billion in this plant alone, producing over 11 million vehicles.
It's all part of Toyota's commitment to the beautiful state of Kentucky.
Helping to create jobs for nearly 25,000 people. You gotta love that.
Toyota Camry, built in the USA.
Toyota, let's go places.
Keeneland welcomes Pause and Listen to the paddock. This University of Kentucky ensemble is coached by undergraduate music education majors Anna DeVries and Emma Scott, and is advised by Elizabeth L. Wilson, who is adjunct professor of choral music. The esteemed group performs for numerous prestigious events throughout the year. They must be academically astute as they participate in one or more other choral ensembles at the university. And now they present My Old Kentucky Home. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed as the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket anthems bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the brave and the home of the brave?
Keeneland is proud to recognize Gene Matheny from the ticket office as the employee of the day. Gene, congratulations.
See you at the races. See you at the races.
What could be better?